Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing this March the 14th, noontime 2025 daily cryptocurrency and the XRP with the blockchain video here once a day to twice a day. Try to get them at noon and at the nightly updates under a seasonably nice, cloudy, overcast shower activity just north of downtown Detroit inside the Vincenzo mobile compound with a current official temperature of 53 degrees J in the great state of Michigan, right? And a little bit of news here to start. Corporate Bitcoin accumulation trend accelerates, surging 154% in a year. Amid global financial volatility, Bitcoin is emerging. Let's do this before something horrible happens. Bitcoin is emerging as a business strategic asset. A report by Bitcoin investment firm River shows a significant increase in companies' Bitcoin accumulation, with adoption rising 154% from 2024. The analysts, the growth, the reason behind the trend, and the latest insight. Blah, blah, blah. According to them, over 2,000 companies are using the platform to accumulate Bitcoin, an impressive 154% growth from 2024. Leading industries include finance and investment, 35%, technology, 16%, professional and consulting services, 16.5%, real estate and construction, 9.7%, and sectors like healthcare, 3.7%, energy, agriculture, and transportation, 3.1%. You can see it broke down there in a graph. The diversity shows that Bitcoin is no longer limited to high-tech sectors. It has expanded into a wide range of industries. One notable example is Blue Cotton, a t-shirt printing company that used Bitcoin to support its operations. Fast food chains Steak and Shake have been accepting Bitcoin payments at all U.S. locations since early 2025. Reports also indicate that businesses have become a leading buyer of Bitcoin, outpacing governments in exchange-traded funds, ETFs. Cash has significantly lost value. As we all know, Rivers calculated that companies investing 3% of its assets in Bitcoin earn a 20% inflation-adjusted return between 21 and 2025. In contrast, only cash led to a 19% loss, while money market funds saw a 6% loss. Right, so that's why they're doing it. For example, the Argentina company Bilo allocated 30% of its treasury to Bitcoin to combat the 211% inflation of the peso. Bitcoin also offers 24/7 liquidity, giving businesses access to capital anytime. This provides especially vulnerable during crises such as collapses Silicon Valley Bank in 2023, when many companies couldn't withdraw their cash. Another reason, it's the reduction of risk from traditional banking system. Bitcoin allows businesses to merge their assets, minimize third-party risk, right? So that's why they're seeing 154% increase. If we go into the Bitcoin price, we can see there hasn't been, let's get into the daily time frame, there hasn't been much change from yesterday. We're still sitting in the same area. This is about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is about the 6th day of consolidation, and we're at a major inroads where if you break to the upside, you're at least tagging the old all-time high and breaking it, and you're most likely breaking the all-time high, where you would probably come up to a target of 119,286. But if you break to the downside, you would have a 3-step move to the downside. You would have your initial step would be very quick, would come straight down to the 97,000 major underneath initial support, followed by a potential bounce, and then you'd have to see if that's a healthy bull market correction or it loses steam quick. And then the second leg would be the flush below that, then come back up and get a rejection as a technical flush, come back down to the second major underneath support at 90,000, and that's another area where you could get a bounce off of there to where you could rally even all the way from 90,000 all the way back to 97, and that's where you'd have to see if that falls again. And then if you fail to hold that blue trading zone, that's when you would come all the way back to the third leg of the flush down to $74,000 very, very quickly, and it would catch a lot of people off guard. So this is very critical right now. This is at an impasse, and a market This is at an area that can change radically what's going on in the short term in the market. A dump down would see a massive flush across the board in all these coins that have had a nice return rally after the dump from the big pump from November, December, January, right? On the contrary, if this pumps to 119,000, you're going to see a lot of these altcoins making 5-year highs, right? So this is going to be very interesting and very exciting, and that's why this channel is here, to give you the daily cryptocurrency news, along with what we believe and think and see going on in the short, medium, and long term, with truth, trust, education, and information to give you the best chance to stay out ahead and educated with as much information as you can get to make an informed and educated decision for yourself. And that's what we're here for you. This channel was created for you, the retail trader, as we're one of the only, if not the only, that looks out for the retail trader. We are not paid for. We have not been infiltrated. We do not promote fleece, heisting, and shysting coins, and we do not get paid to promote things to fleece, heist, and confuse and emotionally torment you to make irrational and bad decisions like almost all of the major mainstream social media and mainstream media influencers do. We're here for truth. We're here for you, right? And that's what we're looking at in the Bitcoin price. If we go into the Ethereum price, we'll run that one down. We always got to look at Ethereum. You can see Ethereum is still up there. It's still in that consolidation zone. We do know if we pump to the upside, we're coming up to 3,064.97 cents. If we come down to the downside, we have our underneath uptrending support, which the 50-day is now at 19.95. The 100-day is sitting about the same level, 21.58. And the 200-day is sitting about where it was yesterday at 24.28. Those are your underneath supports that you would hit if it tries to correct to the downside. And then your major underneath support is down there at $1,809, right? So this is a critical swing spot for Ethereum too, because it's up better than 50% over the last about 8 or 9 days. If we look at the XLM, it's the same thing. We're trading sideways now. You can see we went over what during these few days where these top on wicks really the whole way up, or where you would pump early and then sell off through the day, along with declining volume that often indicates the price is starting to exhaust itself. But you can see we had the bullish cross now, just like the Bitcoin did. We've ding, 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 minted bullish cross, right? You can see that right there. You can see where the 200-day is, and you can see where the 50 is. Now what you're going to see is if we come on a retest, is this going to go and try to retest and confirm the bullish cross and then kick back to the upside, right? If this comes down, because if this breaks to the downside in the daily time frame, you would see your first support at the 100-day moving average, and that would be a healthy correction. Even if it came down to the 50-day and the 200-day, that's still a healthy correction, but you would want to hold and have a nice bounce off of that. If you fail to hold these moving averages, you would quickly come down to 25 cents, the major support level that it's trying to desperately hold as a major support level and not flip it to a major resistance level, right? And then on any kind of pump, still don't want to buy you. You could see a hyper pump to 43 cents if this breaks ferociously to the upside, and that's something that we're watching out for, because in this coin you can actually see we're going to get rid of this because this is just clouding what I'm trying to do. You can see this one, the volume has actually started to trend up from the bottom. See this? The mean of the volume in the daily and the daily candlesticks have trended up. So that's interesting, right? That would be something that you would look at and say that's bullish, right? The volume is trending up as the price is going up. And that could lead me to believe that with the newly minted bullish cross, this could coil up, consolidate down onto the uptrending 50-day moving average, and then maybe potentially this might be telling us in this coin that this is going to want to make a run up here at 43 cents. So that's very interesting. That's something that I'm watching. That's something that we're going to be following over the next couple of days, because this is one of the rare coins where the volume is actually going the correct way. If you look at the volume in XRP on the other hand, and Bitcoin, the volume is going the opposite way. The volume is trailing off, right? See that? This is where your swing bottom was to pump to the upside, and the volume has went to the downside. You had another little mini spike in volume there, but it was less impressive than the beginning. But nonetheless, the price continues to move to the upside, and we're sitting just above now on a consolidation. If we zoom in, We want to update these moving averages though, because we did have a minted bullish cross here as well in the XRP, where the 50 has got back above the 100-day moving average, right? Never got below the 200-day moving average like XLM did. But you can see that, and if we zoom into the hour time frame, you can see we're coming off that pump yesterday with the big wick, the double wick up roughly in the same area, a little double top locally. Now we're back on the 256, and this is a critical support level because you want to hold this, because if you slip down and hit this and then trade back up and then start losing it, that's starting to confirm that as resistance. And then if you lost that, you'll trade back down into these moving averages down there at 223 and 225 very, very quickly, right here just above the critical neckline at $2.09, $2.10. And then eventually, before you knew it, very quickly, you would be down at the neckline again. So this is a critical time for the XRP as well, as I still believe we're in that head and shoulders, but we're following this as it's a critical time, because if it pumps up to the upside and another volume spike comes in, you're going to $3 up there at that light blue horizontal from left to right overhead resistance, right? So it's very critical. This is very exciting, and we're going to stay on top of this for you. AMP, look at this. Look at our boy AMP has finally starting to show some merit that we were talking about. It's up 20% right now. It's just underway in the pump. You can see it did that targeted move of 32% move from when we were consolidating on here. And AMP is one of the ones we've been talking about for a very, very long time. And you can see it's been in this down and sideways falling channel since early December. We've had this in green for several months as we thought there should be some kind of technical breakout, because these are bearish continuation patterns, but they bullish reversal patterns after they break out, and they usually come back up about to where the pattern started, which is what we have marked in blue. And now you can see on this reversal with the current 20% up from the swing wick low to the swing wick high so far, it's up 90%, with over 30% of that coming in the last couple of days. This looks to be pump 2, and I'm still thinking we're going to get up here now, as now we're showing some credence to what we've been talking about. I still think we're going to come up there on this run, and then like I was saying the whole time, it's probably going to be another quick sell-off, but this run looks to be finally happening, and it looks to be like this could turn this into a bullish cross too, where the 50 is going to get back on top of the 100-day moving average in a couple of days based on this move. But that's very exciting that this is finally happening, and we're going to continue to follow it, because this will move very, very quickly. And on the next update tonight, who knows, it could be sitting up here by then already, and that would be another substantial move to the upside from the current price on the red dots. That would be another 26%. So it's very exciting, and we're going to watch that. And usually AMP goes the opposite way of the market. It'll pump after everything finally pumps and starts to come back down the opposite way. As you can see today, a lot of these coins are coming back in a correction mode. And if we look at COREUM, people love COREUM. COREUM is in a correction mode. It came all the way up almost to that 20-cent target that we were looking at. Got up as high as the 18 cents. Now it's sitting on the 50-day moving average in the daily time frame. Still don't want to buy you just below and getting rejected off of the 100-day moving average. And that's what we're going to watch. You got to hold this 50-day moving average, or you'll come right back down to where you started, down there at 10 cents. If you can hold this 50-day moving average, you can try to build a base and actually make a run up here at 20 cents. So in the short term for COREUM, those are the two things that I'm looking at. And if we go into here, we want to go into SHIBA coin, because the audience loves SHIBA coin. And we're going to look at SHIBA coin real quick. You can see SHIBA coin, we're attempting in a few days to try to have a bullish cross, but this price is starting to get choppy, and it's trading just along and below with some wicks above the 200-day moving average, but currently it's just below that 200-day moving average. And you've been trading in between the last couple of days from just above the 200-day to right on, or just above the 100-day and in between it, right? And right now you're going to try to hold that so you can pump up to the next move, the next layer, the next major resistance level up here at the point, a bunch of zeros, 2000, right, level. That's where you're trying to get up to, but that doesn't quite match that as good as I would have liked. That's better. That's where you're going to try to get up to if you can break above that. But if you break to the downside, you would come back down to the 50-day moving average very quickly, and most likely along the top part of this red resistance and support box, right? So that's what you're looking at in the SHIBA coin in the short term, and that's what we're going to continue to follow. CHAINLINK is another one. You can see CHAINLINK has successfully bounced and got through, bouncing off the bottom part of this green major support box area. You can see it bounced off of it from the bottom edge. It actually wicked below it down here in CHAINLINK, but it held the $11.31, fought through the moving average. As you can see how it does it. It initially gets rejected by the 50, then shoots up to the 100, then holds support along the 50-day moving average, and then makes a bounce after it held support and bounces above the 50 and the 100. Now what it's going to do on a consolidation is it's holding the 200-day moving average there, and if it consolidates down, you would look for it to hold the 50-day moving average, the 100-day moving average, which is just along the top part of this green trading zone, and you want to hold that in CHAINLINK if you want to try to continue to pump to the upside and go to your next major resistance level, which would be up here at about $19, $20, right? So that's what you're looking at in the CHAINLINK. If we go look at one more coin, the fucking Dogecoin, Vincenzo, on the way out of here. The Doge we haven't followed in a while. It's had a very nice pump off of a major support level where you can see that, even not even looking at this coin for a while, you can see that major support level here. See all that support and resistance, but major support, look at that, bam. And that's where it held support and kicked to the upside. But now you're coming up to an area where you're having your last major resistance level, and if you broke this, you could come all the way back up here into that 40-cent level, or you're going to start to lose some ground with not enough volume, and you're going to quickly trade back down to the red resistance area or support box. Like the channel, subscribe. Peace and love. The Rock's Eyebrow, Jay.